Welcome everyone back to another Dragon Ball Legends video. My name is DFree. Here today, we will be talking about the brand new Legends scan that came out earlier today from V-Jump. So, hope you guys enjoy. Hit that subscribe if you are new. We're going to go over translations. Going to talk about it, give you guys my opinion, my thoughts, and everything that in between as well. Let me know what you guys feel about all of this as well towards the end of the video once you've heard all the way through. So, to begin, we have a brand new BROLY, as you see. And Metacooler, yeah, look at that. That's some awesome art, by the way. Metacooler is coming alongside a new BROLY. So, about BROLY, this is actually BROLY from Movie 2, not the old BROLY. He was from Movie 1. Movie 2 BROLY. So they're going to apparently go all the way through and drop Bio BROLY at some point. That'll be an interesting time. I mean, it was going to happen regardless, but still. Anyways, I got a BROLY. Let's go ahead and go over some translations. So, huge shout out to Goresh, my boy, and then also the Legends Reddit as well for the scan. Characters specializing in defense arrive in Ultra Space Time Summon number 12. LSSJ Broly's super attack is the Eraser Cannon. He nullifies enemies' attacks other than some special arts cards. He also reduces damage taken via cover, sustained damage cut. Interesting. Nullifies enemy attacks other than some special arts cards. So, I'm guessing what that's talking about is he nullifies all cards, because it says some special arts cards. So, I'm guessing he nullifies basically everything, which is insane to say, by the way, except for the cards that literally say they can't be nullified. Like, for example, Broly's says cannot be nullified by most other special moves. I'm guessing, and by the way, I haven't had a clash or a scenario with this, but I'm pretty sure what this means by most is only cards that say this can cancel each other out, basically. So this card will always get priority versus another special move like a Kamehameha. So I'm guessing that that's what they're talking about as far as the new BROLY is concerned. He is unable to nullify those attacks, but yeah, because it's a super attack. Eraser Cannon, that's exact same thing they're talking about here, yeah. So it's a little late, so forgive me. It's literally like about 9 or so, and that's not super late, but I haven't slept much. So anyways, yeah, the Eraser Cannon is unable to be nullified by other attacks, which is awesome. Also reduces damage via cover cut. So cover cut's cool and all, but I will say the offense of these units, and also coupled with like a timely rising rush or special move, whatever it is, low percentage cover cuts or even average 30 to 40, whatever it is, it's just not enough, man. These units generally don't have the defenses to really make it work. Even Brienne, who just came out, she's a defense type, solid defense stats as well, has quote-unquote cover cut. Not exactly, but when she enters the battlefield, she reduces damage by 30%, so it works the same way, basically. It just has a little bit more viability because you don't have to be on a cover change. Even then, she still takes a bit of damage, right? So we'll see what happens. But I'm kind of going to need him to have something better than 30 or 40 is what I'm saying. Because the offense of these units, it's just peaking too high at some point. Like, you can, in most cases, these units can't even really tank rising rushes unless they're cover cutting. And even then, you could still lose again. So offense is peaking very high. And there are a lot of different scenarios. Metacooler super attack is not visible in the scan. He destroys a random amounts of arts cards in the opponent's hand and inflicts attribute downgrades every time your opponent uses an arts card. He has great defensive and healing capabilities as well. So, Metacooler, it sounds like he actually is literally ripping parts of the new Vegeta that was on the last UST banner, funnily enough. Where you at, my boy? Where you at, Vegeta? Hello? There you are. So, Vegeta actually is really good when it comes to debuffing and downgrades and stuff like that. He does a ton of different little gimmicks like that. So, Cooler is very, very similar. So, 15% damage received for every time this character uses a blast card. While this character is on the battlefield, the following effects occur every time the enemy uses a strike arts card. They get plus 15% of blast damage inflicted. So, each time they use a strike card, they are going to be in a position where they take more blast damage. Also, on top of that, they get a attribute downgrade minus 70% of key recovery. So, like, it's almost the same type of concept. Not the same thing. I'm guessing he's going to be very different. But just an example for what he is able to do. So keep that in mind. So let's go back over to the post here for Metacooler. Destroys a random amount of arts cards in the opponent's hand and inflicts attribute downgrade every time. I feel like there's another card that destroys a random amount of cards in hand. Is it Green Cooler? Is his green card do that? Destroys 3, oh, at random. Yeah, it does say random, but it does do 3. I feel like there's another character in here that I might be forgetting. Chi-Chi, maybe? What's character? No. Force switching is what she does. Anyways, not going to spend a lot of time on it. So destroying the opponent's hand, though, is really good. Oh, random cards. Kale. Cover change. This is my last unit I'm going to look at. Randomly destroys 2 cards. There we go. I was like, I know there's a card that randomly destroys our opponent's cards. So Kale does that, and that actually can be. If you've ever gone up against the Kale, let me know your experience. You probably have bodied Kales too, but like maybe they've used her properly, cover changed, and destroyed some cards you needed, your Dragon Balls, maybe even your ultimate because you had it in your hand at the time. You hadn't used it yet. Yeah, it can be really demoralizing. So destroying a random amount of arts cards in the opponent's hand is awesome. And, which by the way, random amount, I'm hoping that they don't let that go up to 4. Because random amount sounds like it could go from destroying 1 card to your entire hand. I don't know how that's going to work. And inflicts attribute downgrades every time your opponent uses an arts card. So each time they use an arts card, they're going to get some sort of downgrade. Which, again, reminiscent of Vegeta. He has great defensive and healing capabilities. So, very, very good unit, just in general from what I can tell. Really what it's going to come down to is the things in between. They said that these units are defense-oriented. Will they have the offenses to sustain? I'm guessing yes, because it's generally... This game has... It's undeniable. This game has an absurd creep at this point. Like, each new unit, each new banner has at least one unit that's at least in the top tiers. One of the top couple of tiers, and it's getting kind of out of hand. So, obviously, Metacooler should be, and Broly as well, in that same area as well. So keep that in mind if you are just kind of wondering about that. Also, Goresh did send me a DM, and he said it specifies that Metacooler thrives in long, drawn-out battles. That's not actually listed here, but Metacooler apparently is really good in a long, drawn-out battle, which one character that's still really good to this day that comes to mind for is this man here. He's not super great early on, but if you're in a prolonged battle, he becomes really, really good as the battle drags on. So I'm guessing it's this one right here. 20% damage inflicted for 10 counts when he enters. The following effects occur depending on the number of timer counts elapsed since the start of the battle. So for 15 counts, he gets a 20% damage. 30 counts, he gets 30% key recovery as well. And then 40 counts, he gets another 30% to strike. So he becomes really good later on after 40 counts have elapsed. He's picking up a ton of buffs. And there are also alternate variations of stuff like that. One that comes to mind is this character's ability where he has the innate power ability. So after 25 counts, he picks up a 40% strike bonus. It's very similar, right? But there are also the inverse of that where the GT Goku, for example, he's not super great post 60 counts. After 60 counts, he fizzles out for the most part. Same thing for Red SS3 Goku, so there's an inverse for that too. But Metacooler being good in a long battle is really awesome because he's going to be good versus regen specifically, which, by the way, he should be a regen character, but regardless, semantics. So Broly, by the way, is green and Cooler is purple. That's different. For one, immediate thoughts about the colors. Purple doesn't need any more Sagas from the Movies characters. Can we stop? Can we stop giving purple Sagas from the Movies characters? They got this man. They got the Vegeta's from the show. He's not from the movie. They got Broly, which is like amazing. They got this man. They got Turles. Can we stop? Can we give them the other colors, please? Anyways, but as far as purple, I think purple's a very competitive field for him to be in. It just depends on what he's used for. But I will say it's actually solid typing for him because of the fact that Lineage of Evil is a team that he obviously could be on. The downside of that is you'd be in a position where you have double purple. But I don't know. We'll just have to see how it works. But the good news is that all the Cooler cards are always going to be buffing or buffed by Sagas of the Movies type stuff. So like EX Cooler is going to be good, and Green Cooler at least on the bench. As we transition into getting more Cooler type cards, you know, Chilled maybe fizzles out and just becomes bench only, and then a Spot versus Super Saiyans. You know, Frieza's weird because he needs to buff somebody else. Same thing for the other Frieza cards. They like literally only buff themselves. So we'll see what happens. But purple's not a bad color, especially because green is actually picking up prominence. If we go to green, they have, look at that top row of units here. Piccolo got a buff, really good now post-buff, especially on regen. This green Vegeta is still really annoying if you get matched up with him. We have GT Goku and Ultimate Gohan, who are phenomenal. We have Kaba, who's not really that common, but he's probably one of the more underrated units. And then we have Mai, who's consistently considered to be one of the best characters in the game. So, like, green, you know. So, when we look at green, though, on a side note, BROLY, again, coming here. BROLY being green is actually nuts. That's actually nuts typing, because you look at blue, he's able to counter all these units. He's able to counter Gogeta. He's able to counter Bardock. He's able to counter these units color-wise. And on a side note, we have a blue BROLY, so that's cool. Movie 2 BROLY counters Movie 1 BROLY. Anyways, phenomenal typing for him. So that's how I feel about that specifically. And aside from that, the thing about being green is his weakness is purple. He doesn't necessarily have a great color counter ally, but when we go over to the yellow coloring, since BROLY is a Super Saiyan, you know, maybe he is good alongside other Saiyan buffers as well, as you would expect. So it just kind of depends on how it works. You know, we'll have to see what happens with the team construct. We'll have to see how the meta shifts as well for PvP. So nonetheless, though, I think green is a good color to be now, especially because, again, you know, for a while it was really bad to be a green unit. Up until about Ultimate Gohan's release, it was really, really bad to be a green unit, essentially, at least in my opinion, because BROLY was just running rampant. We're past the days where having BROLY basically guarantees that you win most of your matches in PvP and stuff like that. It's not the case anymore. Regen is really good. BROLY, like this whole, like, top row of units here, this top couple of rows mainly, they can all, like, 1 to 2 combo BROLY. And they can all, like, 1 to 2 combo each other for the most part. There are going to be units that obviously that maybe doesn't apply to, like the Great Saiyaman free-to-play card or whatever the case is, but the power creep has really picked up in this game. Like, they all can body each other, and it doesn't really matter anymore. Basically, again, the power creep was going, but when Ultimate Gohan came out, green units basically were saved. And then Goku's continuing that trend, and Piccolo got buffed, yada yada. So, I don't really mind the typing. Hard to make out what's on the bottom left, but it looks like something new that has to do with creating new equipment, sending a new kind of message in PvP after battle ends, and something possibly with titles. Now, I'm going to have to do a titles guide because they keep putting titles out, and that's something I've never covered. But he's talking about what's down here. It's very, very hard to see this, but they're looking at their character status page. So there's that, and they're also talking about something with new equipment. Creating equipment would be, oh my goodness, please. Oh my God. Oh my God. If we can create equipment, like there is. I'm going to just leave on that one. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed. Last little thing I want to point out is, again, it's an Ultra Space Time banner. Starting from Space Time number 11, they went ahead and added all of these characters on the banners. Now, this actually really started with the Gogeta banner, by the way. But the Gogeta banner, there was a key difference with this banner. The issue with this banner was there was only 3 units that were featured, and then there was a shadow featured unit. This unit was shadow featured. He had the exact same rate as Vegeta and the purple BROLY, which, by the way, was not 1%. These units should have been at 1%. They were 0.25. Gogeta was the only unit on the banner at 1%. When there is only one 1% unit, you would think it would be weighted towards Gogeta. If you were going to get a featured unit, most likely you were going to get Gogeta, by the way, on the side note. But there's a million other sparkings, and when there's no other 1% units, it's a lot easier to see all this other stuff. So with this banner, all the new units were 1%, which actually, again, there was always, generally, if you look through the history of banners, at least 2 units, 1 to 2 units that were basically fodder units, old units, trash units that you wouldn't want to summon anyway. Like, if we look here, this is a good example. 3 brand new units, and Piccolo and Kid Trunks. They were the last 2 units in those last 2 spots. Now, the likelihood of you getting a new unit did drop by, I think it was like 5 or 6%, something like that on the ticket. But the last 2 percentage points are all that's really affected when you look at the new banners. So, long story short, it's not a huge deal because there's still 3 units. If there's only 1, then yeah, it's not that great. But I will say, I don't know what they're going to do because the new banner that just came out actually returns to the old model of 11111, if I said enough ones, where they're individual 5 at a 5% clip, each having a 1% rate. Now, the new banner that comes out featuring these units is, again, Ultra Space Time. They could continue that on Ultra Space Time banners, so we'll see what happens. But again, one thing that's really cool, though, is that again, this is the banner you guys will get tickets for. So typically those types of these banners pop up when there's 1 week left. So that banner should be coming up next week. This is the current Ultra Space Time. It does expire in 2 weeks and some change. So in about a week, you should be seeing this. Not the Tuesday that comes up in a few days, but the following Tuesday is when this stuff should come out. So anyways, have an awesome day, everyone, and I'll catch all of you in the next one.